Good evening. I had another student email me a question about what to do with a question like this. And so this question was telling the student that they were given a function g where g of -1 is equal to -6 and g of and g of 4 is equal to 6. And with that information they want us to find g if the function g of x is of the form g of x is equal to mx plus b. So this is a linear equation, and if we have a linear equation, sorry, my cat is getting in the way. If we have a linear equation, then what they want us to do is pull 2 points from here and use those 2 points to complete this equation. So all ordered pairs give us an x and a y, and this information is giving us also an x and a y when I plug in -1 for x into this function. It spits out a -6 for the y of that function. So for this function we have this ordered pair and this ordered pair then, since all ordered pairs are of the form xy. When we are looking at a linear equation, m is always the variable for slope. Slope is always a difference in y values, and we just say y2 minus y1 so that we know that we're subtracting 2 y values over x2 minus x1. You can also reverse the order of this formula with the y's, saying y2 minus y1 over x1 minus x2. The formula order does not matter as long as we're consistent. And those little subscripts just mean pick from one point, pick from another point. So here I'm going to let m equal, and I'm just going to use this y value first because I feel like it. No difference. -6 minus this other y value of 6 over, I have to go to the corresponding x value, -1 minus the other x value, which is 4. -6 minus 6 would give me -12. -1 minus 4 will give me -5. Because of the double negative, this is going to become a positive 12 over 5. Unfortunately, not a nice slope, but that's okay. We can still solve the problem. Now that we have the slope, we don't need both of these points anymore. You can decide which point you want to use from now on. It does not matter. It will not change your answer, so you get to decide. I personally just want to use this point, so I'm going to. Again, it wouldn't have mattered if I'd picked this one or that one. So with this point and this slope, I will use this form of the equation to find the equation. So the function is supposed to look like g of x is equal to mx plus b. We could also write that as y is equal to mx plus b. And we have an ordered pair for 6, and we found that our slope was equal to the value 12 over 5. So this 4 is an x value when the y value is 6, and m is equal to 12 over 5. I'm going to take these 3 values and plug them into this equation. So I have, instead of y, 6 equal to, instead of m, we're going to put our slope in, 12 over 5. Instead of x, we're going to put our value of 4. And I'm going to put it in parentheses so that I don't forget that these 2 things are supposed to be multiplied, since they're sitting next to each other and there's no plus or minus between them. And then plus b, because I don't have a value for b yet, and it's my job to find it. So then we have to simplify, and there is a fraction, but again, we can still totally do that. If I'm going to multiply these together, some people like to think of this 4 as being 4 over 1, because any whole number is itself over 1. So we have 6 is equal to, when we multiply fractions, remember, multiply across the top, 12 times 4 will give us 48. Multiply across the bottom, 5 times 1 will give us 5, plus b. We now need to solve for b, which means I'm going to subtract this 48 over 5 from both sides of the equation, because I want b to be alone. So 6 minus 48 over 5 is equal to b. Again, we have to mess with this fraction. Since this is a whole number, again, we can think about this as being 6 over 1. I want it to have the same denominator as this fraction because I cannot add or subtract unless I have the same denominator. So I want to multiply that 1 by 5 to make it equal 5. If I do that, I have to keep this fraction balanced, so I have to multiply the numerator by 5 as well. So this 6 that we had originally, we wrote it as 6 over 1. We're multiplying both the top and the bottom by 5 to get the denominator we want. 5 times 6, I'm going to go over here to get some more room, sorry, is going to give me 30 over 5 minus 48 over 5, and that's still to give me the value of b. Now that they have the same denominator of 5, I can just subtract across the top. 30 minus 48 is going to give me negative 18 over 5, which is going to equal b. And so, way back at the beginning of this problem, they wanted us to find the equation of this function in this format. To do that, we needed really to find the m and the b, and now we've gone through and done that. We know that m is equal to 12 over 5 and b is equal to negative 18 over 5. So our function, finally, we can say g of x is going to equal our slope 12 over 5. We're going to put that x in because we want it to be a function of x, plus, sorry, I'm going to say minus because plus a negative. So instead of saying plus minus 18 over 5, I'm going to just say minus 18 over 5 because I've replaced that b with the b value we found. I hope that helps. It's a lot of fraction work, which is good to look over as well. Please keep sending your questions. Thanks.